Yeah, I am actually a kind of intermediate. For example, I can write classes, and I can write some functions, and I use my Python for my table comparison or get data using ODBC jars to the my database, and some wraparound scripts. I just do it with Python. And so I don't know whether I should start here or I should start with advanced, or this is that one.
So as your wish, you can just take the few sessions so that you can decide that. Actually, in basic Python, we are going to cover complete fundamental concepts like how to work with loops and while loops, nested for loops, operators, data type, even more data structures also there. That is very important to deal with every time data, and even functions, modules, lambda expressions. These are all we will cover into core basic Python only.
Okay. Because I know like all the data types like dictionaries, tuples, and then I can work with the JSONs, and then lambda functions. I'm quite comfortable in using it. So I mean, basically, and also I'm looking at packaging, like how to package, and the advanced concepts in classes, like how we can do the encapsulation or abstraction, how we can do it using classes. So that's what, because for my right now the knowledge is, for any functions I create a class or method in that and I use it. So I'm at that level only. Probably I mean, you are a better judge on that, so I just thought of checking.
No problem. You are the correct track only, but we will discuss in our session like in detail about class and each and every method inside the class, how it will behave exactly, because different types of methods are there, not only one method. Obviously, class contains several methods like instance method, static method, class method, different types of methods.
Correct. Yeah.
Different point of scale, we have to use that.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's begin today's session. And in the last session, we just discussed about basic subjects which I'm going to cover in Python full stack development, like Python, Django, REST, and Flask, UI, MySQL. And even I have discussed clearly which subject is for what purpose also. I clearly mentioned in the last session. And today's session, I'm going to give complete overview of Python, because this is our main subject. Without this subject, we can't move forward for any frameworks and other process. So this is our first subject, and Python. So what is Python means, as I said, that Python is a programming language which is used to write generally coding part for the application development. And here we need to know that what type of language it is. The reason is already we have existing languages like C, C++, Java, C#, .NET, more vast languages which can be used rapidly in every application development like Java and C#, .NET. So that are also strong enough to build any application. But why Python became a popular language, and also why people are moving towards Python? So what is the reason behind that means? So basically, Python is having simple syntax and straightforward code, and there is no complex syntax, and you need not to concentrate on Python script more, because it's a straightforward, everybody can understand. Because of this reason, it's not became a popular. The main reason was it's provide completely huge standard library. That is the main reason, one of the key reason why Python became a popular and so oftenly used language in everywhere, means it's provide completely huge standard library. Libraries means it's completely pre-defined classes and along with methods. So in each and every aspect of application, so once we download Python software and install, you will get plenty of libraries. Directly you can able to use it and you can implement your application code. So once the libraries are available, so no need to write the code from scratch. You can able to reuse that libraries, and you can inject that libraries to your application, and you can use that stuff from there. So no need to write code from scratch. That is the big advantage of Python. And moreover, the advantage of Python is completely cross-platform as well as platform independent also. It can run on any platform. So that means it's a portable language. We can migrate from one platform to another platform easily. And moreover, the libraries which will come in the context of different applications. So the person who wants to develop data science or data analysis, they can get libraries like Pandas, Matplotlib, NumPy. These also I'm going to cover in the end of the session of Python. So Pandas for data analysis purpose and Matplotlib is for visualization purpose. Pandas and Matplotlib are developed on top of NumPy. So NumPy is also one of the part of our session. And data science or data analysis application purpose also, they are providing completely libraries and even statistical analysis and machine learning, artificial intelligence and network programming, and also business applications, gaming applications, and many more applications we can develop using Python. For all the applications, Python supports built-in libraries. So that's the reason the programmer choice obviously to build their application quickly without interacting with a lot of code. Directly they can collect the stuff from Python libraries. So that's the reason Python became a popular language in every projects or in every technologies. Python contribution is there nowadays. So that's the reason. So Python is a simple and straightforward, and it's provide completely huge standard libraries. Because of this reason only, Python became a popular language, one of the first choice as a programmer in reality. Now coming to this, Python is what type of language is? Python is a general purpose. So everybody knows that what is meaning of general purpose. So general purpose means it's not a specific language which can be used to design for specific type of application. It's completely general purpose. This can be designed for develop any type of applications, not only specific. Like using Python, we can develop web applications, standalone applications, and desktop GUI applications, and gaming applications, and data analysis applications, and many more. So it's not designed for only specific point of scale. It is going to use it to develop complete different types of application. That is the meaning of general purpose programming language. And coming to this, Python is a high level programming language. Meaning is, as a Python programmer, while writing Python logic, so we need not to concentrate on low level activities. That means memory management and security. All these things built in available in Python. So Python will take care internally so the memory management with the help of garbage collector and security with code access security. So it takes care everything. You need not to contribute from your side. So no need to concentrate on low level activities because it's a high level programming language. And coming to this, Python is interpreted programming language. Interpreter. So generally, whenever we go for like a C language or C++, even Java and C#.NET. So Java is both interpreter as well as compiler. But these are most of the cases like compiler only here, compiler based language. What is meaning of compiler based? It's a simple, when we write the code in these languages and the code will be compiled, whole program at a time will be checked and run. That is called compiler. But when it comes to Python, even JavaScript also, so it is interpreted language. Interpreter. Interpreted based means whenever we write the code in Python language, that code can be compiled, that code can be cross-verified or checked line by line only. So line by line code will check and execute. So that is called interpreted. Whole program at a time it will check and execute. That is called compiler. So Python is interpreted based. So that means how many number of lines you write in Python script. So each and every line separately will cross-verified and it will execute. So that's because of this reason, always Python execution speed is little bit slow when compared to these existing languages. but it doesn't mean that it is a drawback of Python, because it's a useful tool also. There is a debugging option is there in Python. So whenever your code is going to be run line by line, as a programmer, you can find out easily where the mistake is available. You can do that debugging of programming clearly while working with line by line code. So this is interpreted. That's the reason when we write huge number of lines of code in Python, so you don't recognize the number of errors which will be displayed in the output window every time. Only one error will be notified. So that is the reason is when Python start execution from the first line, if all the lines are correct, for example, imagine that line number 5, there is some problem. Immediately Python interpreter will stop the line number 5 code and it will show the error clearly on which line it's available and what type of error. So only one error you will notice because of it is interpreted only. So when it comes to these languages like C, C++, Java, C#, .NET, these are all compiler based. How many lines you have written the code, whole lines will check and execute. That's what we notice in these languages, especially while working with these languages. Programmer will notice that multiple lines errors. Like if you face like 5 errors will display and with along with line numbers, and 10 errors, 20 errors. If there is no errors, obviously compiler will successfully generate the exe file. It will ready to execute now. But in Python, not like that. So it won't generate any exe here because it's an interpreter. So each and every line by line code will check and finally it is going to be executed. But it doesn't mean that there is no compilation in Python. So in Python, compilation also there, but as a programmer, we are not going to do compilation explicitly. Internally, interpreter will take care of that compilation line by line checking process. So this is about interpreted. It's an interpreted based. Even JavaScript also interpreted because JavaScript also same almost equally Python. So now coming to this, Python is dynamically typed programming language. Dynamically typed programming language. This feature is very useful feature for programmer side because in other languages, the programmer need to take care the data type at the time of writing the code. So now you can see statically typed these languages. Statically typed means at the time of declaring any variable, the syntax of declaring data type or variable in other languages, this is the common syntax, data type, then after that variable name equals to value, and then semicolon is ending with the statement, that's must. If you miss semicolon in other languages, so it will give error completely. Suppose here, this is my syntax. Int is data type, I declared as a programmer because my value is 10. So I have to know that this value based data type. So if this value is float, I can't say that it is an integer, so it will give error. So I can have, I should have the clarity about this data type and variables clearly. This variable data type, what I need to do. So that's what here it is statically typed. Means at the time of writing the code, you need to decide the data type of the variable based on its value. But in Python, there is no problem at all. So it is a dynamically typed. No, dynamically means during the program execution. Statically means before execution. So dynamically typed language means in Python, no need to define any data type. Just we can say variable name equals to value and variable name is equal to value and 10 only. Even no need to give any termination symbol like semicolon because Python program automatically terminated once line is ended. Even if you include this semicolon also, it's not wrong in Python, it will accept it, no problem, but it's not required. So you can say this, I didn't mention any data type of the variable before declaring the variable. Even if you mention the data type of this variable like this, it will give clearly syntax error. It will not allow you to declare the data type from the programmer end because it's a dynamically typed. Based on its a value, data type will be decided. For example, I want to show you this one quick example. For this, I'm just opening a default editor that is called IDLE. Whenever we download and install Python software, you will get a default editor that is called IDLE, Integrated Development Learning Environment. You need not to worry. I'll discuss in next session clearly how to do Python setup from scratch what softwares are required, how to download and install it, and what is our complete editor. Throughout our sessions, we'll discuss in detail. But right now, I would like to show you a simple program. So how data type dealing. So ideally software I'm opening. This is the default editor. As soon as when we click on this ideally, so you'll notify this is ideally shell. This is editor tool. So in this editor, just I'm typing a is a variable equals to is operator and 10 is a value. So here you can see as soon as when we hit the enter, then automatically 10 will be assigned to A. Do you want to print A? No need to use print print statement. It is optional to use here. Directly you can say A and enter. You got this value clearly. And you can see if I declare int A equals to 10, this is wrong. In Python, so dynamically data type will decide for the variable, so that is integer, but we have mentioned integer from our side, that is not correct. So integer invalid syntax it is. So if I go for this value A and A is printing, but I want to know that which data type is assigned for my variable. So if you want to know that, just simply you can go for type function. Type is a built-in function in Python to know which data type is assigned for your variable. It's a class type integer type. And even if I declare the A is 23.4 and A is printing and type of A is what actually float type. So like this, based on the value, data type will decide internally. So we need not to specify any data type in Python. Only you should focus on the value which you want to assign to them. Then that value, based on its value, Python interpreter will decide the type of variable only. Okay, so this is one of the advantage. So you need to focus on only values and variables. No need to think about data types. Okay, so but it doesn't mean that Python do not have any data types. Lots of data types are there, like int, float, bool, complex, and even more sequence or collection data structures are there: string, list, tuple, set, dictionary, range, and so on. So a lot of data types are there here clearly. Okay, so we'll discuss that data structures also in our upcoming session. So now you can see dynamically typed. Okay, now coming to this, Python is case sensitive programming language. Case sensitive means how the way you declare the variables and the function names or class name, any names. Same way how to access, you cannot able to access different way. For example, if I declare a value 10, then I can access that through print function a only. But I cannot able to access this with capital letter A because it's a case sensitive. What the variable you declare, like name of the variable or name of the function, name of the class, how the way you declare, same way how to access. If you access in different way, it won't work out. So ultimately, Python is a general purpose, high level, interpreted, dynamically typed, and case sensitive programming language. What type of language means? Now, coming to this, why Python? Why not other language? Just now I discussed clearly, Python provides a flexible way to write the code when compared to other existing languages. And moreover, Python syntaxes are very simple and straightforward. There is no complex syntax. And also, Python provides lots of built-in libraries, which will make programmer task will be easy. So you can able to write the code directly by using that libraries. And imagine that when compared to other programming languages, so for example, if you want to display some output on the screen like hello world or welcome to something like that, if you want to display some single line output statements onto the screen, if you go through Java or C++, at least minimum you need to write 4 or 5 lines of code because the structure is like that only in those languages. If you go for Java, first we need to import packages, and after that you have to declare the class, public class, class name, and let open bracket, close brackets are there, and public static void main. So many things are there. For example, you can see this Java language. So I'm including one class like public class. Class name is what we can say, just class name I can use, and open bracket, close bracket. This is very simple, straightforward structure also, but somewhat complex because every time you have to follow these rules and regulations. If you miss any brackets or semicolon or something, so it will give error something. String, square bracket, arcs, then open and close. Finally, if you want to display any statement, system.out.println, I can say hello. This is the code actually in Java. But here in Python, need not to write these many lines of code. Almost same lines you can write in C# as well as C language also. But in Python, not required to write these many lines. In Python, simply if you want to display hello, then just use print statement. It's a print is a function. You can say that hello, that's all. So one line is the matter. So easily you can able to manage the code clearly, sir. Okay, this is what hello statements we print in Python programming straightforward. But how that manage? Yes, it's an interpreted language. No class is required, no method is required, no object is required. But here line by line code will check whatever the lines are stated. Now you can see this line automatically will execute. Yeah, please go ahead. Your question, any question?
So when you write the code, is it necessary to write the bracket and then a semicolon?
Not
Or
required.
we can just...
See, the thing is here, if I use semicolon, it's not required here. Here
okay.
brackets are required here when we go for some PyCharm editor or other editor. But whenever we go for some ideally platform, so now you can see here, no need to use any print. Directly you can go for hello, or else you can write like print function also we can use like this.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you manually type the bracket open and bracket close?
Yes, I'm manually typing because it's ideally. So brackets will not come by default. There is no IntelliSense option. That's what I suggest you in our upcoming session. Also, I'll introduce so many editors. In that, I'll go for right editor like PyCharm editor. Then we go for PyCharm editor, and everything will become in the IntelliSense like suggestion. So you need not to worry about where we should use capital letter and small letters and brackets. Automatically, it will capture from IntelliSense. But here, no IntelliSense. So automatically you have to take care how to write your program with spelling mistake. Even you can see when I try to write something P capital and hello, I can say, I don't notice that here error until we execute the program. So when we execute the program, error is noticed here. So P letter capital, did you mean print? Yes, I mean print only. But this type of things will not be available in upcoming editors like PyCharm editor I'll introduce. No, there don't be any problem like this.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what I strongly recommend to use a proper editor and professional editor, which is exclusively designed for Python. So that will be recommended in the initial stage of Python learning. So if you know already how to manage the syntax and Python script and well, then you can go through any editor. Even you can write a code in Notepad, Notepad++, any editor you can use. Because if you go through Notepad and Notepad++, even ideally platform editor tool, there don't be any IntelliSense and there is no recognition tools are there. That means what programmer is expecting, it won't populate you. So that is the big problem in the initial stage of learning Python. So what I suggest you, better to use PyCharm editor, which I'm going to continue all my lectures, including Django, REST, Flask, UI, everything will be covered in PyCharm editor only. That I'll introduce in tomorrow. So I'll show you installation steps and all. You can compare with which editor is best. What use your comfort, you can go through that.
Okay, thank you.
So this is why Python means it's straightforward syntax and easy, simple syntaxes are there. And that's what we preferred Python here. So in Python, there are huge standard libraries are there, which may not available for fulfilling any application type in other languages. That's the reason people are moving towards Python for make their applications are properly and quickly development process is possible with Python only. And now I'm going to discuss a small history of Python. So Python was designed and developed by Guido van Rossum. He's the man who invented Python. And in the year of 1989, the first version of Python was released in the year of 1991. So this is the first version in the year 1991. The version number is 0.9.0. And later The versions are like 1.x, 2.x, 3.x. X means there is lot of subversions are there. There are a lot of subversions. So now you can see 1.1, 2, 3, and so on like that, 2.1, 2, 3, and so on, 3.1, 2, 3, and so on. So I'll given clearly, I have given clearly this all version in my PDF actually. So you can able to find that PDF attachment once we send this. So now you can see, let me open the PDF so that you can get clear idea. And even versioning is main version, you can just remember, remaining versions are not required. So these are the versioning clearly, which I mentioned in my documentation. So look, these ones. These are all subversions, but not required to remember all these versions. Main versions are, this is 0.9.0 and 1.0, 2.0. Right now we are in third version and the current stable version is 3.11.0. How do you know that current version, stable version means? So you can visit this official website, that Python.org, so that you will come to know what is the current stable version. Right now, Python 3.11. So Python was designed and developed by Guido van Rossum. He is the man who invented Python in the year of 1989. The first version of Python was released in the year of 1991. The current stable version is 3.11.0, 1.0. And you can see, visit this official website also. Simply you can go to Google and open this what we can say, tab. Let me go to Google and download Python. You can search simply. Yeah. So you will be able to see this official website, python.org. Now you can see this is latest version, download Python 3.11.0. And if you want to download this current stable version, click on it. And also, if you are looking for old versions, you can scroll down. You'll be able to find the plenty of old versions here. So each version you want to work on that version, you can click on download and you can use it. So we are using latest version only, 3.11.0 in. And moreover, Python is completely cross-platform, as I said, which will be run on Windows, Linux, Unix, macOS, and others. So if you want, you can download and install it quickly. So it's not a big deal to download here. It is only 1 minute of time. I'll show you complete downloading and installation process and set up everything in tomorrow's session clearly. And now, this is the versioning. And now, why Python? We can call it as this programming language. Why we can call it as Python? Actually, the author, the name Python was selected from TV show. There was a TV show which was broadcasted in BBC channel at the time of writing script of Python language. That TV show name is called the Monty Python Circus Show. So the author was selected and named Python from this show, and he has given working title of his programming language called Python. That's what we are calling Python. And mostly the author developed Python language by taking all programming features from different languages. For example, programming features from C and object-oriented programming features from C++ and scripting language features from Perl and Shell script and modular programming features from Modular 3. So finally, he created a functional-oriented language, object-oriented language, structured-oriented language, that is Python. That means Python supports a lot of data structures. We need to discuss that also. And Python supports a lot of functions, then functional oriented also. That means it will be provide reusability. If any programming language functional oriented, that means reusability is possible. So we can able to reuse the code without rewriting the code. So the main point is Python. We cannot repeat the code. We can use the code. That means we can able to reuse the code. We cannot repeat the code. That is the matter. So instead of repeat the code, we can reuse the code. How we can reuse? Using functions and using object-oriented programming. In both cases, we can able to reuse the code. But functions through we can reuse the code, but scope is limited. Why? Because inside the function, how much code you write, that code you can able to reuse it. But in object-oriented programming, there is a lot of scope is there inside the total class, how many number of functions we created, that class completely can be reused through inheritance concept. In inheritance, the parent and child class generally will be created. In the parent class, whatever we have implementation, that's by default will applicable to child. That is inheritance rule. We'll talk about that in detail in object-oriented programming. That means in advanced Python. So this is official website of python.org. This is, if you can download any version, you can able to download from this official website clearly. Now coming to this application area of Python. So generally, this Python language, through which type of applications we can develop generally. Application area of Python. So what are the general applications we can develop? So we can develop standalone or desktop applications using Python. We can develop standalone or desktop. Standalone or desktop application means once we design and develop the application using Python, so the application in which mission you install over there, that mission only it will be run. You cannot able to run on multiple devices, and also we cannot able to exchange the information from one system to another system. We cannot able to share the data or communicate. So this is fixed with only one particular system or one particular computer. This type of applications are standalone or desktop. But in standalone or desktop, there are two types of applications are there. One is console application. This means CUI, this command user interface or character user interface, CUI. Command user interface or character user interface, we can say that. This is CUI based. That means as a programmer, we need to deal with every time characters only. Your input should be in the form of characters and output also will come in the form of characters. And moreover, using Python, we can develop desktop GUI also, graphical user interface. This is, that means Windows Calculator is the example of graphical user interface application. Meaning is, as soon as when we open Windows Calculator, you can see this is Microsoft related. Okay, but you can, even in Python, we can develop this kind of application. This is completely GUI scenario. So there are some buttons are available and text boxes available. We are interacting with this form. This is called GUI mode, graphically well designed. This type of applications are desktop GUI, and even this is graphically designed, but it's not a distributed application. Still, it is a standalone. Only we can install in particular device. On that particular device, this type of applications can be work, like gaming application, most of the cases. Okay. And coming to this, using Python, we can develop web application. This is our main motto in Django point of view. Web application means these are all also called as online or distributed applications. Distributed applications. These applications can be provide services over the web. The application which will provide the services over the web is called web application. And for web application, you need not install any software. Directly, once we have a web address, you can go and type in the URL, automatically internet through, it will open. So all the applications, web applications are available to all users or all customers over the world. So around the globe, we can able to access these web applications. This type of web application also we can develop using Python, but only Python. It's not possible to build web applications. As you know that Django framework are required or Flask framework is required along with Python. Django is one of the popular framework, especially which is written in Python. It can be used to develop web applications. And Flask is also one of the popular micro framework which can be used to develop single page applications with Python only. And coming to this, not only web applications and network programming also we can write by using Python. See, before Python, most of the network developers were used C++ for their scripting and coding for managing that route configuration, all those things. But nowadays, these network programmers also are moving towards Python because they'll manage their code easily with Python built-in libraries. So next, testing. Testing application also we can build. So nowadays testing Selenium, QTP, WinRunner, WinLoader, so many tools are there, automation tools in testing. They are asking to write Python script for writing test cases. Previously, they were used a programming language called Java as well as C# for writing test cases for automation. But nowadays, they are also looking forward Python test cases along with Selenium, all the things. In testing application also, Python can be used. And also we can develop very faster rate application is possible. That is gaming applications we can develop quickly using Python because a lot of gaming libraries are there. And Python became a popular language for especially in this area only nowadays, data analysis, or we can call it as data science. So majority of the people are using Python script in the analysis programming and data science programming. Those who are looking forward for data analysis and data science, please try to concentrate more on data structures of Python, which I'm going to cover in our upcoming session, and data types and data structures. These data structures will play the important role in analysis part and visualization part in your case. So those who are looking forward for data analysis or data science programming after learning Python. And then Python also can be used in AI, artificial intelligence, and now ML, machine learning, and also deep learning. And also we can say Python through we can develop a business applications. If one of the client came with business applications according to their business needs, you can collect the requirements from them. You can also fulfill that requirements by using Python with Django or any framework also clearly. So this is the basic area, application area of Python, and lot more also we can do this. So web applications, network programming, testing, gaming, analysis, and data science, artificial intelligence, ML, DL, business applications, and many more are here. So this is exactly application area of Python development. Like means using Python, we can develop these applications clearly. And some important basic features also I'm going to discuss. So after that, we'll begin with the installation setup, mostly in tomorrow. So let's go for Python features. So as I said that Python is a simple and easy to learn. This is one of the basic feature, simple and easy to learn. So Python is a simple programming language. So when we compared with other existing programming language or C++, we will write less number of lines of code. That means it's more readability and simplicity. We can reduce development of cost of the project also, because quickly we can finish the Python code compared to other existing language. And other feature is Python is completely free and open source. Free and open source. The code of Python is completely open to all. So you can visit official website python.org. You can read the documentation clearly. If you can understand, you can get the code from there and you can implement into your code. It's a free open source code, and software is completely free software. You need not to do any license and you need not to pay to anyone. Directly you can visit python.org and you can get that software from there and install it and use your logics. So free and open source completely. So it's an open source so that we can customize the source code which is collected from the official website or Git repository from anywhere. Vast community is there. So based on your requirement, we can able to customize the code also. As I said that Python is cross-platform or platform independent. This is another feature, platform independent. So cross-platform or platform independent means, so Python can be able to run on any operating system like Windows, Linux, Mac OS, and any more. So it's a cross-platform. So it is not fixed with only Windows operating system. It can be run on any platform easily. So, and moreover, Python programs are completely portable. So that means portability in nature, portability. That means we can migrate from one platform to another platform easily. So platform independent also, like once we write Python program, it can run on any platform without rewriting the code again and again. Because internally, PVM is there, that is Python virtual mission, which will take responsibility to convert mission understandable format clearly. And Python programs are portable. That means we can migrate from one platform to another platform very easily. So even after shifting the platform to another platform, the result what we get from other platform, same result we will get same other platform also clearly. So what we received the result from existing platform, same result you are expecting to other platform, result will not be changed. That is accurate result. Okay, that's called portability in nature, Python programs by default. And as I said that it is a dynamically typed language. That means no need to specify any data type. So data type will decide internally based on your value, what we assign to the variables. But in other languages like Java, C, C++, that are statically typed languages, then we have to provide that data type at the beginning only. That means at the time of writing the code. And coming to this, Python is having both procedure oriented and object oriented. This is also important, sir. Procedure oriented and object oriented. Python language supports both procedure oriented like C, Pascal, etc. How they are having procedures, and object oriented like C++, Java, C#, .NET. All features also there in Python. So we can get benefits like security and reusability. Everything is there in Python. And as I said that Python is completely extensible language. Yes, sir. Yeah. Extensible. Extensible means we can use other language programs in Python. That means if you want to use that C language code or Java code or .NET code, you can also extend with Python. The main advantage of this extensibility feature is we can use already existing non-Python code into Python so that we can improve the performance of the application. Because you feel that which I have written already C language, then I can rewrite, I need to rewrite into Python. That's not required. Directly we can able to extend that. That purpose we need to use some flavors like C programmers, they'll use some flavor called CPython, and Java programmers, they'll use flavor called JPython, and .NET programmers usually use IronPython flavors. Use these flavors into their editors, then they can able to develop the code and they can integrate with Python. It's possible here. Extensibility is possible here. And Python is having huge standard library. This is one of the topmost feature. Because of this only, Python became a popular language. This is huge standard library. So that means once Python, if you download and install, you will get a lot of libraries. So Python has a rich in built-in libraries. Being a programmer, we can use these libraries directly and we are not required to write any code from scratch or functionality. Directly, all the functionalities predefined and pre-implemented that will come directly and you can use it and enjoy your code. So this is exactly basic and important features of Python. So these are the features and application area of Python and the versioning of Python. Which version we are going to looking forward in our session means Python 3.11.0, and we will discuss what new features are there in this 3.11.0 also. What was the previous version features? So python.org is the official website. If you want to download any version of Python, then you can visit this official website and get it the software clearly. And this is the small story of Python and what type of language it is Python we discuss in detail. So this is the basic idea of Python which we make. So next in tomorrow's session, we will go for making setup of Python. For example, you are new to completely Python. So how we can start the programming part in your system. I will assist you clearly. So step-by-step process. Those who wants to continue my lectures from tomorrow's session, don't miss tomorrow's session at least, because you will come to know a clear picture in tomorrow what softwares are required and how to make setup of that. And I'm going to introduce tomorrow a lot of editors and lot of possible ways to write Python script. Finally, we will fix with one possible way and which is always good for beginners, that is PyCharm editor through. I'll continue my lectures so that you will get idea what are the possible ways to write Python script, how many sources are there. and which source is the best source for your practice. So we will come to know in tomorrow. So I request you, please join tomorrow. Those who really wish to continue my lectures, don't skip tomorrow's session at least, because tomorrow is the important session. You can understand that downloading software and installation of software and making full-fledged setup of Python. Once you know how to make setup, it will be easy to handle in further session programming. So that's all from my side today. If you have any question, you can feel free to ask me now. I'll wait here for 10 minutes.
Hi, can we completely uninstall Python using pip, or is that only we have to delete that folder?
No, the thing is, what the way you install, are you installed, did you install system environment or virtual environment is the matter?
It's system environment only. I installed through pip install.
No problem. Let it keep. Why you need to uninstall?
No, I have two versions. One is 2.4 and the 3. So this PyCharm is having a clash on which to choose.
No, that's what I'm saying. First, actually, whenever you go to directly command prompt and check version like Python space -- version, then you can notice that which version is populating. That is system environment version might be, which is going to take first. And if you have any separate virtual environment, you can go to that environment. You can use that environment. That's what actually virtual environment purpose is. That is only.
Okay, so basically you mean to say we create a virtual environment on 3.x and we can point out PyCharm to that virtual environment and we can continue executing our script.
Yes. On that environment, which version you have installed, then that version will be impact on your project. So that's what programmers might be create different virtual environments to work on different style of coding. So that is virtual environment is exactly.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
So generally, when we go to command prompt and check the version, then on system environment, what version you install, that will be shown. That it's not going to show in virtual environment. If you want to check the versioning onto particular environment, then what we need to do, you have to move to that environment. After that, then you can check the version. That version will be display clear.
Okay.
Can you repeat point number 7 and 8, please? The features of Python.
7 is an extensible. That means what actually we can able to use other language code also, like C language or C++ or Java with Python.
Okay.
And line number 8 is it's a standard libraries. That means libraries means it's a collection of predefined stuff. So already pre-designed. This we can say straight away ready-made resources. These are all. That means already resources are available, which will be installed in your computer. That resources we can able to directly use in your Python code by importing that libraries.
Okay.
Suppose if you want to develop any game application, gaming libraries you can write on the top of the code. All gaming library stuff and functions, everything will come to your program. You can directly use that functions. If not, libraries available, what we need to do, we need to develop from scratch everything. That's big headache. Yeah.
And you said something .NET program iron. What is that?
Tell me.
You said .NET or something like you said .NET program
that's what
I didn't get that.
The reason is extensible means we can able to extend the other language code into Python. Like C programmers generally use the flavor called C Python flavor, which they want to write Python related code. And Java programmers, they'll use the flavor called JPython, which is related to Java related type of code they'll write and extends with Python only. And same .NET programmers, Microsoft .NET is one of the famous tool. That framework also is useful. They'll use Iron Python flavor for writing Python.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I have a question. Means after completing the course, we are going to do some projects so we can have a hands-on on the project.
Obviously, that project all we are going to deal with the Django with respect of REST API, all these things.
It will be real time, right?
Yes, real time in the sense, no real time. The word we cannot use real time, but majority of the people will get confused. The real time in the sense, really, if you have a client or you're doing a project for client, then that is called real time. But we will say hands-on project means we can take or we can create our own requirements and we can fulfill that requirements in the process of writing our own code. That is called hands-on project. That is project real-time knowledge.
Okay, and it would be only a cut operation, or apart from cut operation, we are looking for, we will do.
No. CRUD operations, it's a very common and everywhere it is possible. In our sessions, multiple ways CRUD operations will do. It doesn't make sense that is a project, but project is different. Actually, CRUD operation is different.
Okay, thank you.
I have a last question. Can you repeat that point number 5, features of Python?
Sure, that is 5. Numbers of dynamically typed. As I said, that dynamically typed means in Python, so no need to define the variable, data type in this variable declaration. So it's automatically assigned the data type for A. So it's a dynamically typed. So int A is not valid for the Python because it's a dynamically typed. Dynamically means at the time of program execution, data type will assign for a variable. So no need to specify any data type at the time of declaring variable, as I mentioned earlier.
Okay.
Yeah, one more question. By what time we can finish code and advanced Python?
It takes 45 days to 50 days, as I said, only if you enroll for the Python core and advanced, 45 days to 50 days exactly. And only full stack development, like including Django, REST, as well as Flask and UI, MySQL, all these things, it will take 4 to 4.5 months maximum.
So are we getting the exercise like every day to practice the Python?
Obviously, exercise will every day will give. Once I start coding part, mostly after 1 or 2 days, then whenever I start the coding part, so from there onwards, topic wise exercise programs I'll hand over to you.
Yeah, and overall program will be finished, I think, around 4 to 5 minutes, right?
4 to?
Overall our program means from Python to all things, means all our I think all full stack program will be finished in 4 to 5 months, right?
5 months. Exactly.
Yeah.
So Mohan sir, will you be talking about connecting Python to database, extracting information from database and processing it?
Obviously, we are going to deal with here in Python MySQL as well as MS SQL, Microsoft SQL Server.
Okay. Same thing with Django, sir. I mean, Django and Flask, do similar ones or?
Django is actually Django. We'll use MySQL as well as SQLite also. But apart from that, in Django, actually we are not going to interfere with the database. The reason is Django is built-in ORM tool is there, object relational mapper. Completely, you can write Python classes, Python code through. We can generate a table actually.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, sir, thank you.
In the Flask, there is no ORM tool, but we use database kind of things like same ORM only that is SQL Alchemy there is that we can use in Flask.
So, and also I see Django APIs and like it's a full web development, I guess, sir. Correct, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Mohan.
You are attending my Django 9 p.m. right, Krishna?
Yeah. So because I attended that, I liked your style, sir. Because you know what, you're covering that certain part, but I also want to make sure that I'm very clear on the Python too, right? Because Python is very much needed for Django and anything you do, right?
Obviously, so that's what I said. Python is the main subject which you can deal with all these remaining subject like Django, REST, Flask, all this.
Yeah, because without knowing the in-depth Python, I don't think so. You can be a good front-end developer in Django. I don't believe so.
Okay, fine.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, did you cover in this course?
What can you repeat it?
Sir, do you cover pandas and numpy in this course?
Surely, pandas, as I said, that pandas and matplotlib and with numpy with CSV files, comma separated values, Excel sheet dealing, that we can cover in advanced Python.
Okay, thank you, sir.
So that's all for now from my side. It's time to leave. So if you really wish to continue this lecture, don't skip tomorrow at least, because tomorrow is the main setup of Python software. After that, we will start writing code. This is the next session is the crucial for everyone. So you will understand that what Python setup, how to do it, and what software editors I'm going to use, which is the best one, which is I'm going to recommend in tomorrow's session. Then that editor through only I'm going to collect all lectures of Python, Django, Flask, and other things. I hope I'll also you to install same thing, so it will be better. Otherwise, you can go through any editor where you comfort what you comfort. So you will come to know in tomorrow's session that. So that's all from my side. Have a nice time. See you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Yeah.